Well, welcome back to my basement. As you can see, I still have a mess, but I'm working on it. COVID-19 has given me plenty of time at home to do projects, which means make a mess. And generally, um, I'm doing them alone. And this chapter is about groups. And I could get a lot more done if I had a group here working, but um, I don't, and I won't have one. So it's all up to me. But in general, we can get a lot more done with groups. And chapter 19 is about groups. So what is a small group? Well, two people is a dyad. 3 to 12 is generally a small group. Some say 3 to 8, some say 3 to 10. Depends on what academic you're reading. But we'll go with 3 to 12. Most small groups are problem-solving groups. When you're out of school and you're in a business, this is what we have to do, this is what we have to fix it. Same thing for fraternities, sororities, groups on campus. You have a problem and you want to try to fix it. In small groups, all participants should be speakers and listeners. Now, I've been in a lot of small groups, and a lot of times they're dominated by a person. That type A personality that they want to control everything. And a lot of times the best ideas come from the real quiet people that are just sitting over there watching everybody. Now, there's different kinds of leadership in small groups. Sometimes it's not specified. It just happens. Other times it's implied. I've been part of many groups, and because I spent 20 years in the Army and I was a master sergeant and I have a PhD, they just kind of like figured I was the guy in charge. And sometimes, I knew what I was talking about, and other times I didn't. And so, I would generally beg off and let somebody else take charge that knew more about the topic than I did. Emergent leaders. When you get a group together and you all start working together, and one person just emerges as the leader, this person happens to be in charge. A designated leader is when you're working for a company and they put a group together and they say, okay, this so-and-so is the chair of the group. They designate that person is the leader. In my household, it's my wife. Grandma's the boss, mama's the boss. I'm a follower. Yes, dear has saved me many times. Well, functions of leadership. The leader should make sure that the procedural needs are met in a meeting. Housekeeping, making sure everybody gets this information, setting up the time and the place, getting there first, making sure that everybody can get in. If it's an online meeting, then setting up the room, setting up the who's going to manage it, who's going to be muted, who's going to talk when, and that all is part of the agenda. Prepare for the meeting. Don't just wing it. If you're winging it, everybody can tell. And the leader should summarize what has happened in the meeting at the end of the meeting to make sure everybody's on the same sheet of music. Now, there's a couple of different things that you need to worry about. Sometimes you have tasks that have to be done. Other times you have issues that you want to analyze. Is there enough parking on campus? I don't know. I don't drive. I got a reserved parking spot in front of most of the buildings, but I don't drive. The leader needs to distribute work. This person is responsible for this person is responsible for that, this person is responsible for the other. Forwarding, keeping a forward momentum. A lot of times meetings turned into just BS sessions. So not only the leader, but everybody needs to keep the whole group moving forward. And you need to have somebody playing the devil's advocate. Somebody challenging all these ideas you have. If you have somebody challenging those ideas, then you're more likely to see the problems that may arise. Maintenance. Somebody needs to be in charge of maintenance. Now, I'm not talking about getting the building ready and all that other stuff. Maintain the group. Manage interpersonal relationships. You know, there's been a lot of people I've been in groups with that I just didn't like personally, but that's okay. You don't have to be friends with them to make a group work. But you need to have interpersonal relationships. When I made groups in the past, I always said, this is your group and it will not deviate. If you got a problem, work it out. One day this girl came in and said, I need to be in a different group. And I said, why? She said, well, my ex-boyfriend is in this group. And last night when I got home, I caught him in bed with another girl. I said, which group would you like to be in? Because I knew there was no way in the semester we were working that interpersonal conflict was ever going to be resolved enough to work. Actually, he moved to another group because the other people in the group were friends of her. So that's the only time I've ever changed a student in a group. You need to be supportive of one another. You know, sometimes we have brainstorming sessions, and this idea and that idea and this idea and that idea, and then somebody throws an idea out and somebody else says, that's stupid. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that, because you know the very next idea that that person was going to come up with may have been the best idea y'all were ever going to have. But as soon as somebody said that's stupid, they're shutting down. Fine, you don't want to hear from me, I'm not going to say anything. Responsibilities. Commit yourself to the goal. You know, when I heard a long time ago, when you work for someone, work for them. If you have a goal, commit yourself to it. Work to make that goal happen. If you have an assignment, fulfill the assignment. And this is where a lot of groups fall apart, is because you have a procrastinator that will fill the assignment at the last minute, and sometimes half-heartedly. And you have somebody else that's like, no, I got to get an A. And they're going to freak out and they're going to do their assignment for them because they aren't proactive enough. Avoid interpersonal conflict. And that goes back to supporting one another and all that other stuff. Encourage full participation. If you've got somebody in a group that's being quiet, talk to them. Encourage them to be part of the group. Find out what they think. Make it a point to pull them into the group. And once again, everybody's responsibility is keep on track. So, you know, there's a couple of different ways you can figure stuff out. And got an error here I got to fix. Reflective thinking is always a good idea. First thing you have to do is define the problem. What's really the problem? You know, a lot of times in interpersonal relationships, people break up for the dumbest little thing. You know, the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know if you ever heard that old saying or not. But it wasn't really the problem. It's just what they blew up on. So let's take parking on campus. Is that a problem? I don't know if it is or not, like I said. But is it a problem, or is it just people don't want to walk far? Is it a problem, or does all the faculty get to close spots? Yeah, so what is the actual problem? Establish a criteria to fix this problem. We have so many dollars available. We have so many man hours available. We have so many supplies available. But we want to fix this. You know, we could fix it if we got a chauffeur service to drive around and pick everybody up and drop everybody off. But, you know, is that feasible? You know, in our criteria set with money, we can't afford that. Generate potential solutions. Brainstorm. But remember, like I said earlier, when you brainstorm, never say it's a stupid idea. When you brainstorm, there's actually steps to it. First one is creative. Any idea is a good idea, period. The second one is then you break them down into we can do it in column A, we can't do it in column B, C, and column B is maybe we can do it. So after you go through all the ideas, throw out column C. Then go back through column B again and say, can we do it or not? Make a decision. If you can, put it in column A, and if you can't, throw it out. And then you have to decide which one of those solutions you want to work on. Is it consensus? Did everybody agree that this is what we want to do? Or did some people just say, okay, you called me stupid a while ago, I don't care what you do. You need to make sure everybody is behind the idea. When you present in a small group, there's a couple of different ways. You could have an oral report where each person gives their part of the problem or solution or the situation. You could have a symposium where you have a moderator that moderates the speakers. Okay, this person's going to talk, that person's going to talk and take questions. You can have a panel discussion where everybody is seated at the table and they all talk. And we take turns. This is my idea, that's my idea. But then we discuss it back and forth. And that, my friends, is small group. Now, if you will notice in your syllabus, there's an assignment for a small group presentation. I have been banging my head up against my virtual walls here in the office, trying to think of an appropriate way that I could create a small group experience for you. And I teach small group for a full semester at CSU. 1 week, put you in groups. You find a way to communicate in the groups via telephone or Skype or Zoom or whatever you want to do, Snapchat. And you come up with a solution and then you present it to me. Well, getting everybody's video together, it would take somebody a little bit of work, a lot more than everybody else. Making it a Zoom conference so you can all present to me at the same time doesn't seem feasible with all your different activities. So I have decided that there will not be an assignment for group. You will all get credit for the assignment. I don't want to give you busy work. I don't want to give you something just to say I did it. I hated it when I was a student. I hated it when I was a soldier. And I don't see the sense in giving you something that's not going to be productive and will help you grow. Because this is all about growth. I want you to grow and be a better communicator. So there's not going to be an assignment for the group communication, because 1 week is not enough time for you to throw something together. When I restructure this course, we're going to go over group early. We're going to establish the groups early and give you all time to do it the whole semester. But 1 week, that's not fair to you, and I can't do that. In all honesty, I can't do that. I could give you an assignment and I could grade it, but is it going to be something worthwhile to you where you grow? I don't think so. And therefore, I'm not going to do it. Don't go telling everybody. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get fired. The decision I made as the instructor, and that's all there is to it. So take a look at the video. Take a look at my lecture notes and reply at the end of week discussion. And get me your commemorative speeches if you haven't. I'd love to see you. I'd love to talk to you and actually have a class. But we're relegated to this. So we're going to make the best of it. And making the best of it means you have productive stuff to do as opposed to busy work. Thanks. Have a great day. Have a great week. I'll see you next week. And we'll be talking about persuasion. Bye-bye.